So, welcome to another podcast, everybody. Today we've got Jordan Morrison joining us.
Howdy.
I think, talking off camera, me and you, we were talking about all the different things to describe what you do, because there's that many.
Yeah.
Do you just want to tell everybody who you are?
I mean, I do loads of different things. I'm probably, what did he call it? Master of none, is it? So, where do we start? So, I'm a serving firefighter. I've raced cars. I'm still racing cars. I'm precision driver for a company called Driving Wizards, which is pretty cool. I'm a family man as well, which is the most important, I think, for myself. And then I've got several different projects, car-wise, on the go as well. I mean, there's loads of different things. I don't know where we start, really. I mean, it's up to you. You got me on here, so...
I think we ought to sort of start back at the beginning.
Right, okay.
Where did sort of the love for being a petrolhead come from? And
so when I was about 14, 15, I was crazy into skateboarding, mad into it, loved it. Used to skate all around Manchester, which is where I'm from. And that was like my hobby, nothing else mattered, girls, anything else, like it was just skateboarding. And then did my driving license. I weren't even really into cars. I was when I was younger, but at this point, all I could see was skateboarding. Got my first car, which was a Vauxhall Nova. Was given that. Long story short, it never materialised because I basically got given a car and it didn't run properly, it didn't work right. Then I got my second car, which was a Corsa. And what you'll learn is I've never had any decent cars, but I've driven a lot of very good cars. And from there, basically it was like, I don't really like skateboarding anymore. Because the car was to then travel to different places, go skateboarding. But I actually realised that I prefer the car and I'd want to do stuff to the car. And also, I was getting at the age when I was like 17 years old and I was actually starting to hurt myself a little bit.
Yeah.
When you're like 14, 15, you're not bothered about
bouncing around.
Yeah, that's it. So my love of cars basically comes from just doing my driving licence, pass first time, which for anyone watching, you shouldn't pass first time because you're going to crash, you know what I mean, at some point. So when everyone's like, pass first time, it's great, I don't agree with that one, really. And it stemmed from there, really. But when I was younger, my love of cars, and we're talking sort of like 6, 7 years old, was always British touring cars. I was like addicted and still am. And I just loved it because you'd get the sort of cars that you'd see on the road but racing. So I used to go to Walton Park when I was younger and watching them, and I was just like, I just want to be on a racetrack and do that. That was like, at that age, that's all I wanted to do, but obviously life goes different ways, doesn't it? So.
I think it's that forgotten motorsport as well.
Oh, massively. I think for me it's one of the best motorsports. You know, I love F1, but you'll never be like the old BTCC racing with like Steve Soper and stuff like that, and the classic touring cars and the BMWs and the Vauxhalls and Fords, and it was all about different championships, and it was all about the crashes, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Really, really cool type of racing. Still love it today. For me, it is a forgotten motorsport a little bit, definitely. Which is a shame.
It is, yeah. It is. I think it's one of them that it's never in the sort of media as well.
Yeah, I mean it's like anything. If you're into it, you'll follow it. So I'll watch every race. I'll follow the Instagram pages, the Facebook pages. But like you said, it's not really well advertised as such.
It's a shame.
Yeah, but things might change. You know, I think with other series of racing now, the racing's becoming more and more popular again, and obviously we've had COVID and everything, which has stopped a lot of motorsport.
Yeah.
So I think any opportunity that people have got to go, like they've just done BTC at Alton Park and it was rammed. Same as the Silverstone F1 Grand Prix, it was absolutely rammed. I mean, it's rammed every year, but I think this year was a bit more. Yeah, because there's an opportunity for people to get out, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So.
It's we've all been. I think that's what everybody's wanting to do, because things are getting back to normal, but we're so long way off, aren't we?
That's it. Like I think everyone wants a bit of normality now, and I think lockdown either made you or it breaks you. It was one or two things, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's no one that's gone through lockdown and been like, yeah, well, it didn't change anything for me. It's either really affected you, whether that's on a mental level, money level, or it's really sort of pushed you to do other things, get fitter, look at your money situation, improve that, start doing a hobby that you've never done before. So
we probably wouldn't be sat here, I don't think, if it weren't for that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so like, for me, this is the first time I've ever done a podcast. Do you know what I mean? So this is quite interesting for me. And like I said, we probably wouldn't be sat talking and stuff like that. We've seen each other's YouTube, and that's how it led from there, really.
Yeah, definitely. So, what was sort of next in your journey?
Well, I went to college and uni. I did my second year in university, still into the car, so I was like into, at this point, Citroen Saxos, 106 GTIs.
Yes.
So I was just like racking off the hot hatch list. I say it. Hot hatch list, basically, of what I could and what I could actually afford.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big believer in you can't afford it, then you don't buy it.
Yeah.
And like I'd get mates and they'd be like buying these brand new cars, and then I'd pull up in my clapped out car that I could afford myself and still beat them, so it was all good. So yeah, from there, went to university, did my second year, got into my third year to do my degree, and I was like, this isn't for me, this. Which, funnily enough, it was all media related, so it was quite interesting. It was all like filming, audio, sound, interviewing people, and that's the type of stuff that I did at uni. And I was like, no, I need to leave. I want to go and do something. I want a job, I want a career. It's like, what do you do? And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then I was sort of steered to the fire service because I didn't want to be a police officer. Mm-hmm. It was just one of those things. Not that I'd had a bad reputation with the police or anything previous, it's just not something for me. So it was like, right, I quite fancy being a firefighter. And I applied when I was 18, got in, which was fantastic, and started my training course when I was 19 with what I'd say at the time, I was quite young, hadn't got many life skills at that point in life, but immediately I had to learn very quickly on the job, and I had to sort of like mature very quickly as well. Because at this point, like, I had mates that were still at uni, loads of people smoking weed, doing whatever they wanted. It was just like the cool thing, and it was like, I need to be a better person now, and do you know what I mean?
More responsible.
And also more responsible, had to become fitter, because I hadn't really concentrated on my fitness. I'd done the skateboarding, but I hadn't ever looked at fitness and stuff like that before. So it was quite cool. One thing that did help me was probably tinkering with cars at the time and having some sort of knowledge of using tools. So that was a bit of a bonus. Became a firefighter and then sort of stemmed from there. Been in now 14 years. Wow. Absolutely love it. Great, fantastic job. If anyone's thinking about going for it, go for it. Yeah. It's a very interesting career, very rewarding. It's cool.
My brother, I think he's been in about, I think he passed out last year.
Right. Fantastic.
So I think he's, 18 months, something like that.
Right. So is he on station now?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so he's classed as a probationer.
Yeah.
So he'll be doing lots of things to train.
How long are you?
So in Great Manchester, when I joined, it was like 3 years you'd be doing. You do probation, you'd have to tick off certain boxes and do certain training scenarios to show your development and that you could achieve what was required, basically. At the time, but honestly, like that period of leaving university to joining the fire service still for me feels like a year ago. It's just flown by, and like when you're younger and you're in school and you're like, oh, I can't wait till I grow up and I'm working or whatever, I can't wait to get out of school. Now,
you wish your life
you're wishing your life away, exactly that, and it goes even quicker as soon as you have children. Like honestly, it's like. For me now, a year is now a week. You know what I mean? The years are just like flying like that. So.
Oh my god! I think it just as you get older, doesn't it? I mean, when you sort of that age when you're like 15, 16, you're like, I can't wait to leave school because I didn't really think school weren't for me, education weren't for me. But I remember thinking, God, I need till I'm fed with this. I just want to go out and work.
Yeah.
And then,
So you're similar to me. Like you get to a point, don't you?
You get out and work, and then you think this is a lot tougher than what you think.
Yeah, you've got to put it in, haven't you? That's it.
And then you get to like 40, like age I am, you think, what a gift to me back at school.
No, it's funny in there how you get to that point, but like so far in life, I wouldn't change anything that's happened, whether it's bad or good, because I honestly
makes you the person.
Massively, yeah. These things happen for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like anyone, I wish I had a bit more money, I wish I had this, wish I had that, but that's not everything, is it?
No, it didn't, and we've spoke about this before. I think if you've got the fundamental things around you that are right, family, love, relationships, then you don't need much else.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? But we need money.
Oh, yeah.
Don't we?
We do, especially when you're into cars. It's like all vans as such. I mean, I wish I kept on the skateboarding in one sense because it was a lot cheaper hobby.
Yeah.
Maybe I was hurting myself a lot, but it was a cheaper hobby than, definitely.
Yeah, because I just think, for me, I don't mean money's easy come, easy go, because it's, we work really hard to earn the money. But, I like to enjoy the fruits of my labour, but at the same time, now especially when I have kids as well, it's more about that time and sort of trying to live in the moment as well.
Oh, massively, yeah.
Yeah, and I've got that wrong a lot of the years. We'll not go too deep into
it. Yeah, I mean, it depends and that's what I was saying before, like whether it's wrong or not, it's all part of development. Because if you're still getting that wrong now, then you've not learned. Exactly. But you've obviously learned, and that's why.
I mean, my wife might say.
They have the overall say. We're both married, so
happy wife, happy life.
That's it.
So, what was sort of next? Because obviously you've been in fire service. How did the motorsport and the driving come about?
So obviously I was in fire service, and I was like, I mean, it's a weird one really. I was into the cars. I was around the car scene massively. We're talking of days when you'd go to a cruise, and the cruise would be a big thing because it'd be like all over social media at the time, which would be like, did you ever use MySpace?
Yeah.
So for Instagram, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sound like
a
fossil now.
A lot of people don't know what that is.
So you go on MySpace, it'd be like, there's a car meet at such a, and then you go down to the car meet, and it'd be like hundreds of cars of all different styles. You'd have the old boys who'd have like Ford Cortinas and all sorts, and then you'd get a 17-year-old lad who's he's got a loan and he spent 30 grand on his 1.2 Fiat Punto with NOS kits out the side of it and lights, and it was like
max power.
Yeah, and it was also the time of Fast and Furious, so people were like, it was all about the car.
Do you know something?
Oversized wings and chrome wheels.
The blue lights underneath.
Oh yeah, it's coming back in.
Yeah.
Everything goes around, I reckon. So I was talking to someone the other day about like Vans trainers, and like Vans trainers years ago were so cool, and then you sort of went out of fashion, but now they're kind of cool again. Yeah. So I was into that car scene, but I was in a responsible job. I was a firefighter, so you go to the cruise, and as part of the cruise, as you probably know yourself, will be lots of street racing, illegal street racing.
Yeah.
So for me, I couldn't be part of that because, I'm on the other side where if that street racing goes wrong and someone's involved in a crash, I potentially will turn out to that as well.
Yeah.
And also it doesn't put myself in good light being part of that. So immediately what I did was I got my Vauxhall Nova and I took to the track because it was just like, number one, I'd seen the other side of racing going wrong.
Yeah.
And number two, I didn't want to lose my job because very quickly, social media, it'd be very easy for me to get caught and firefighter caught, street racing, do this. And that's it. Like I went to the cruises because obviously you have static cruises as well, so it was a meet, look at the car, see what other people.
It's the minority that ruin it for
exactly. That's it, and it can get out of hand like anything. So that then led me into the track days, And I did my first ever track day in a Vauxhall Nova, 2 litre 16 valve, red top. Love them cars. Never thought I'd have one again. And I did that at Cadwell Park, and I did it, and I was so slow. My lines were all over the place. I just didn't have a clue. And I'd been around people that had been street racing and doing all this, so you think you're quick until you go on a track. Yeah. And you realise you're not quick. And did that, and that was it. I was just hooked, like properly addicted to it. And I've been trying to do a track day twice a month at least. And that was literally, didn't have a trailer licence, so I'd get my car, and it was this Vauxhall Nova 2 litre, stripped out, roll cage, no heaters, as light as possible. It had no diff, it didn't have decent tyres on it, because I didn't know much at this point. And I drive it to the track, and then I drive it back home if I didn't crash it, which I didn't, touch wood. And it was just really, until you've been on track and you get into that rhythm of it and you get hooked, you can't explain to someone what that feeling's like, and it's much better than racing. And also, it was far cheaper than, number one, losing your licence, killing someone, getting a speeding fine. So I don't want to sound like a boring so and I probably am now, but I don't really care. But for me, until you have seen both sides and you've seen fatalities in car crashes and all sorts, then you sort of realise that
brings it home, doesn't it?
Oh, massively. Yeah, for myself it does. And still to this day, we're talking, that was 14 years ago, and I'm still addicted to the track. Can't get away from it, to be honest.
You know something, I've never been around a track.
Well, so this is what we need to do. We've been talking about this slightly off podcast, but we've been saying, like, especially with what you're doing, you've been with a lot of performance fans, haven't you, and stuff like that. So I think we need to get you on the track day.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, there's nothing like it. And then the next level of that for me was then moving to motorbikes as well, and getting a motorbike on the track, and that just blew my mind the first time, because the speed differences, unless you're in like a very expensive high-powered car, the speed differences are phenomenal. And the feeling of the wind and everything, you can hear it in your helmet, and you're leaning over and you're like, if this goes wrong, I am going to hurt myself like pretty badly.
Yeah.
I don't ever think that in a car, really. Do you know what I mean? Because
I always found, I mean, I've got my bike licence. I haven't had a bike for 12 years, something like that.
Right, full licence or one?
Full licence. But yeah, it's you feel very vulnerable when, especially on the road.
Well,
on a bike.
First of all, when did you get your bike licence? Before kids?
Yes.
Okay, so that's very interesting.
Yeah, so that's
when
a long time ago.
Yeah, when you have children as well, and this might be me to speak for myself, you might agree or disagree here, but I got my licence while I had my first daughter. And I just wanted to get it because I wanted to get it. I want to say, you know, I'm a petrol head and I want to learn to ride a bike as well. I just want to tick off that box, a bit like a bucket list box. That's all it was for me, really. Yeah, it's a bucket list box. But as soon as you have kids, and then if you ever get knocked off your bike, it's a warning for me. So I was on my bike, I got knocked off. Nothing to do with my fault. I was rear-ended by a car. So from there I was like, well, that's totally out of my control. That on a track, it's in my control in somewhat way, and it's a safer environment.
Yeah.
So then I decided, right, okay, well, we'll stick to track bikes now. Yeah.
Which it's a more sensible way.
You will learn to ride a bike faster on a track, or not faster. You will learn to be a more skillful rider faster.
Yeah.
From being on a track in a day than I reckon 6 months of riding a bike.
Yeah.
Because you pick up so much, you learn so much in a short period of time. You've got to learn fast, because if you don't, you're coming off it.
Yeah.
And then you've got lots of like-minded people around you who are willing to help. What's good with I'm digressing here, but what's good with the bike track days is that you put in novice, intermediate and advanced, which really should have a similar format to cars.
So don't you do that on cars then?
No, not at all. So like, you can turn up on a track day tomorrow with your van, and you can have someone who's in a full-blown BTCC car doing some testing potentially, which shouldn't be. So you can get them two massive differences, which is very dangerous, I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why the bikes are good, because you'll jump on with novices. and then you then move from novice to intermediate, and you move from intermediate to advanced. But what you'll find with the bike track days is you'll get an advanced person who has missed their space for that track day, but there's a novice space available, so they'll just jump into it, and it's for the track day company to recognise that and see. So you'll be like riding around, and you'll be with similar-minded novices, and then there'll be a guy on flipping, I don't know, R1 at the back wheel turning in the car, no. But it'll be coming over the mountain at, say, Cadwell Park, both wheels off the ground, you'll be like, mate, I'm just scared to get my front wheel up at first, do you know what I mean? So it's just getting them massive differences, and I think that's something that's coming along with track days, because from what I remember, the car track days have cancelled like certain cars, such as was it Westfield? They've cancelled certain cars because they're so quick, and the speed differences are so quick.
Yeah, because if you've got something coming up on you at that speed, and you brake or you get, I know there's certain rules for certain track days about letting cars pass and all that.
Yeah, so you can only overtake on a certain side. It's not racing.
Yeah,
it's
that's the difference. What people think. People think. A lot of people use track days to test. I know Darkside use a lot of track days to test. And
it's cheap testing.
Exactly, It's cheap testing. So I think that's the difference sometimes, isn't it? People can turn up and be worlds apart.
Yeah, massively. I think just to put in there, I think the first thing we need to do, or me and you, is get on a track day, because I honestly think you'll love it.
I'd love to do it.
You'll love it. And for me now, like, I'll go on track days with people, I'll go in my own car, but I get more now out of giving a bit of tuition and teaching someone.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not an experienced racer or anything, but if we went to, say, my local circuit or somewhere that I have raced at, there's a lot that you can pick up from, and you can be in a slow car and be much quicker than a person in a fast car who has no idea where to be, because it's all about the lines, it's all about track knowledge.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
I've heard a lot of people say that before.
Oh, massively.
They can go out in something that's half the power.
Yeah.
Or a third of the power.
Yeah.
And they can just be overtaking.
Yeah. And that for me is the best feeling in the world as well, being in a proper shed and absolutely annihilating someone in, say, a supercar. Like, you can't beat that, can you? It's such a good feeling, isn't it?
No, God, I know.
Like, I got into my third track day at Alton Park, and I'd done some tuition, which is by far the best mod that you can ever make, which we'll get onto. Tuition, by far best mod. And there was an old boy there, and at the time, he was in his Mercedes C63, and it was his first track day. And I was in a Megane 225, a lot of you might know the car. Not powerful, well, it's 225 brake, it wasn't mapped, it was standard.
Yeah.
And this guy come over to me and was like, what the hell's in that? And I was like, oh, it's just a 2 litre. And he was just in shock and in awe. And he was like, mate, you were so quick. And I said, no, I wasn't that quick. And he was like, you was? And I was like, no. I said, you can be a lot quicker. Like, you've got C63, you can be miles quicker. Go and get some tuition. But it's funny, because that's what I was saying before, you get a lot of people that will then, they'll get on a track day and they'll be like, oh God, I need more power. Oh, I need to upgrade my brakes. Oh, I need to do this. And it's like, if you actually took some tuition, got some advice about the lines and braking points and where to hit the apex, and like, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, maybe do that first. You probably knock about 3 or 4 seconds off your time before you spend.
And your brakes won't be screaming and all.
That's it, yeah. And that's it. It's having mechanical sympathy for the car. Like, I've been out with some people, no mechanical sympathy for the car. Don't understand sort of the mechanisms of you're going to overheat the car and the tyres are going to go off if you just keep on going around all day. And yeah. Interesting. I reckon you'll be one of them, to be fair. But it's like, if you went...
Is he coming in yet?
What do we get you out in is the question. Like, what...
Well, I think there's a discussion that we've already had and what we're thinking about doing. But I think, for me, I'd like to get out... Not this is van oriented. This is just getting out on the track.
Yeah.
So whether it's, something pretty standard, or just, I've heard... I mean, I've had a Clio.
Yeah. The cheap fun, aren't they?
I've heard the cheap fun. If you
handle very well.
They handle very well, standard, decent brakes.
Yeah.
So maybe something like that.
I mean, to me, some of the funniest things are seeing vans go around track days. and beating other cars. I love it. There's a lot of sleeper vans out there that are doing track days.
That's what I like to do.
And they keep the cars close to the chest as well, so you'll see them turn up in like a van, and then you'll get a guy in his tricked out sort of sports car or whatever. But he won't pop the bonnet of the van. You'll never see what's underneath it. It's a van, so you can't really see that it's got a full 6-point roll cage in there as well and stuff like that.
That is the dream.
I think that's the way to go forward. I think there's something cool about being on track in a van that was never made to go on track and modifying that for a specific purpose. Because to me, people disagree with me here, possibly that any car can be a race car. Do you know what I mean? Some of the best race cars are high cars. Well, that's another story. So because literally you don't care about it. You know what I mean?
No, but I think SRS have got that white caddy. I don't know if I'll show it you.
Right.
Which is full track, cage.
Nice.
4-wheel drive.
Wow.
Rear independent suspension. Because the caddies, they come with the leaf springs.
Right.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
You know, so I think if I were going to do a van...
fun when you're bobbing on the track, isn't it?
I think if I were going to do a van properly, I think I'd either go with something that's got the independent rear suspension.
Yeah.
Which a lot of vans have, a lot of the smaller stuff. Astras have, you know, and all that. So I think I'd probably go with something like that, just to make it the best it could be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bother getting a caddy and putting it all in because you're talking tons of money and tons of work. When in reality, you could find a decent van, and
them Astra vans,
and you know, and you can drop a
XR engine, and have a lot of fun,
and have a lot of fun. So I think there's definitely, and the sleeper thing that appeals to me.
Yeah. Well, I always say as well, you don't need massive amount of power to have fun on a track. You really don't.
No.
Like, and you know, it's extracting the maximum out of whatever you've got, whether that be a 1 litre. True story. We for my stag do, we went to the Nürburgring. You know about this already. 7 Up, so we had to.
No, I was watching that video, and I asked, "What are you watching?"
This is something that no one's ever done before, so we had to do it.
I've got goosebumps, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, mate, I was just like, "Oh my god."
Do you want to explain, or do you want me to?
No, you'll do it.
So for my stag do, it was like, what does a petrol head do for a stag day do? So we went to the Nürburgring. We try and go every year, usually in hot hatches and stuff like that, but this was my stag do, so it had to be something special. So it had to be in a British taxi. Not only a British taxi, but it had to have 7 seats for us all, so we had to buy a seat for the front, because all British taxis don't have a seat in the front, obviously.
Yeah.
And it had to be bright pink. So we got this British taxi. We didn't really do any modifications other than service it.
What are their standard? Are they about 80 horsepower or something?
Well, this one had done 360,000 miles, so moon miles of what we know. And it was a Ford Transit 2.4 engine. Don't know what brake it was.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
You could have told me that car had 80 brake horsepower, 75, and I tell you that it felt like it had 20. It had no power in it whatsoever. Like, we were considering on the hills to Germany, pushing, going opposite routes and all sorts. But anyway, so we took that on the Nürburgring, and that's where it comes to any car can be a race car, because we had no power. We were 7 Up in this van going around the ring, and it was good fun. And that's all it's about at the end of the day. Track day is not a race, it's about good fun. I mean, I was dressed as a unicorn, and that was down to the lads. Big shout out to the Man Clan. So good set of lads. And at one point we got some overstay. Do you know what I mean? That'll do me. We was on the carousel like, it's like, oh god, this isn't going well. And that's why I was saying, like, even with a van, and if you're looking at doing track days, it's just buy a van. Don't do anything to it first. Just take it out as it is. Like, try and get some of this turbo diesel at least. You know what I mean? That'll be a good start. And just get out and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Then start looking at the modifications.
Yeah.
Because you'd be surprised how much you can improve just within that day of being on the track.
Yeah.
But that's where my love lies, is the racetracks now, not skateboarding or a non-road.
Driving around Nürburgring in a taxi.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not proper petrol, then, is it really? But I got to meet Guy Martin,
no way.
which was cool. He was there at the time, and I mean, fair play to him. Like,
Were he with transit?
No, he was actually there doing some motorbike stuff. And there's pictures all over my Instagram, and the video of the taxis all over Instagram as well. And we was just there, and I was like, Guy Martin's over there, and I was like, go, and I was like, we can't go over, like, he's doing interviews and all sorts. And the lad's like, just go, and I was like, right, okay. So it goes over to him, and I thought, I don't want to disturb him because he's working. But also, you don't know what these people are like in real life. You see him on telly and you think, he's a cool guy. What's he like in real life?
I'd probably think that about me and you today.
That's it.
But we're pretty cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I went over, and he's like, he was looking at me dead weird immediately. So he's like, he's already on the back foot. And I was like, I said, can I just get a picture of you, guy? And he's like, yeah, go for it. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm on my stag do, mate. I'm not usually dressed like this. And he had a good crack, do you know what I mean? It was only for 5 minutes, but, you know, and then you think, oh, you know what? He's just as he is on the telly, which is really nice. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
And he loves vans, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, I mean,
I think he's just like me, like
he's a petrol head, isn't he?
Or I'm just like him, should I say, because he appreciates any combustion engine. He's just done a series regarding electric cars. And
I watched that last night.
And that, I mean, electric cars are something that wowed me a little bit. I can't stand that they've got no noise, but you can't get away from the fact that they're very fast.
Yeah.
You can't get away.
Yeah.
Let's just take out of context no noise and limited mileage. They're very good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, a friend of mine, Scott. He's got the new Porsche.
Right.
You know the
electric,
yeah.
Nice. Wow. Yeah.
It took me out in it. Jeez.
Just another level.
Just like
instant. Yeah.
Instant, and as well, I've never been in one before.
Right.
I've been in like, taxis.
Yeah.
The hybrids, but I've never been in an all electric.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was just.
It's mind blowing.
Unreal.
It's mind blowing, isn't it?
It was just unreal.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, you've watched that Guy Martin episode, but I think we're a long way off them being sustainable. You're right with short journeys, like you just said, but I think we're a long way off the infrastructure.
Yeah, it's coming, but then if we look at, say, cars from the 70s and 80s, look how much they've developed since then.
Mm.
So in a short period of time, say, the infrastructure will be there, and these cars will be at a level where they're affordable and they do the range. It just takes time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that's it at the end of the day.
I think I wouldn't ever rule out having one. But it takes all the. For me, it's like. I mean, that Porsche is just out of this world.
Yeah,
everything about it, it's gorgeous, and fair play to Scott for getting it. But I don't think I'd ever be able to afford a Porsche. But all I'm trying to say is, whatever I got, say if you got,
never say never.
Never get it. But I think if you ever, if you got a Volkswagen Golf or a Ford Focus or whatever, or a van or whatever, I like driving my van.
Yeah.
Because I like how it drives.
Yeah.
I like the noise it makes, and I like the driver. I
driver
like changing
experience.
gears, the driver experience, and I love
Yeah.
all that. And I think as long as, even when this 2030 no more petrol or diesel engines comes in, I still think there'll be people like us that'll load them.
Yeah, so for me, one of the big things I watched was the Chris Harris interview, and he interviewed a guy who was like in charge of the infrastructure for electricity, like really big guy. Don't know whether you've seen the interview.
I don't know.
And the guy turned up in a Lotus S1 Elise, and this guy's the head of electric and the infrastructure. So Chris Harris was immediately like, oh, that's amazing because this guy's actually a petrol head. And what the guy was saying is, we'll be at a point where we'll have our electric cars on the drive charging up, we'll reduce emissions. But then you'll have your petrol car and you'll take it out on a Sunday drive once in a while still. And I think that's what point we'll eventually hit.
Yeah, which suits.
Because I will never, like at the point I am with my Nova now, like, and this isn't my original Nova, this is now my third Nova, I think. I don't know, lost track. But anyway, with that, I don't think I can get rid of that car now. I'm at that age where that car's now the same age as me, and I just want to keep it forever. And it's not going to be worth, it's worth good money, but to sell it is not worth trying to find another one.
No. And you can't.
Because very quickly, like, these cars are going to disappear. People will. What'll be interesting for me is a car's going to devalue. Petrol cars, diesel cars, going to devalue massively.
Yeah. Because
there'll be a shift at some point where all these electric cars come out, and your C63, your big V8, whatever it is that now not worth that much because you can get the performance and power from something else, and it's not as desirable anymore. And obviously all these top manufacturers and supercar manufacturers are also going that way with Porsche, stuff like that, McLaren going hybrid and stuff. So everyone's really expensive cars have just devalued. There'll be certain cars that will always hold the money, obviously.
Yeah. You'll always appreciate it in certain ones.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's going to be interesting to watch it. I think over the next sort of 10 years, how things develop.
I think, me personally, and I've driven an electric car. It was the Audi e-tron. Did it for a TV advert, which is another story. But I'd driven that, and we had that all day. We were shooting with it all day. That car was amazing. I told my missus she needs to buy one. Because my missus does like no more than sort of 150 mile max a day stopping and starting. She works mobile, she's a hairdresser, so for her that car would be perfect.
Yeah. And
I loved it. It was so powerful. We started shooting in the morning with 93% battery, and we shot from like about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, driving around London, different locations, doing a shoot, stopping and starting. I was playing with the car, I was turning the aircon on and looking at gadgets because this is a brand new car. And by the end of it, we had 73% battery. And I was like, that's just a no-brainer. It's fast, it looks nice. It was like the S4 version of an Audi, but electric. Right. I was like, what more do you want? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. I'm sort of sat on the fence. I mean, I want to embrace it, but at the same time, I'm watchful of
petrol through the veins.
Just like watchful how this is going to end up. Or they're going to get to 2030 and go, we're not quite ready. It's 2040.
Yeah. Well, what I've heard as well, I don't want to say too much on this actually, but electric isn't the way forward.
What?
Yeah.
Is it diesel?
No, it's definitely not diesel. It's definitely not petrol. Do your research. That's all I'll say.
I think it's a chat for another day then.
And maybe electric's alright for now, but what we've got to think about as well is being all environmentally friendly and stuff like that.
That's the thing about houses,
generally. The batteries, how are we going to dispose of them? Where are we putting them? We're putting them in landfill. Where are we going to...
I tell you what, them that set on fire.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, well, so it's all that. So I don't think electric is the way forward. And if you're an investor, look at what is the way forward and put your investment into there. That's all I'd say. Yeah.
So if you're an investor,
I might be wrong, but I'd be looking at, I'd be looking at other sources.
Weren't there some London buses?
Got your mind thinking now,
they have gas in them.
Well, that'd be LPG, won't it, though?
It was something else.
Right.
Well, I remember being when I worked in London years ago, and the top of the bus were like it just been made a lot bigger.
Right.
Hydrogen.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Hydrogen.
There you go. But to me, and what I've been told, and spoke to a couple of manufacturers of people, that's the way forward.
Yeah.
So if it were me, I'd be putting my money into hydrogen maybe.
Yeah.
But hydrogen, from what I've heard, is not very stable when it's in transport. And that's where the technology's got to come in. So for me, electric...
You don't have a crash in it.
For me, electric is, we've got to do something, we've got to do it now, we've got to do it by 2030 because we're going to stop producing all these petrol and thingy cars.
Yeah.
Well, maybe by 2040 we were running full hydrogen and electric cars are,
Yeah.
and now the evil ones really.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everyone's saved up and bought their electric car by that point. We put an infrastructure in and we've put a charging cell in your house. So.
Yeah, and as well, the infrastructure not only for you plugging it in, but for generating the electric.
Yeah, generating it, yeah.
Nuclear.
Still all fossil fuel in it and also. So, yeah.
Or what does Guy Martin calls it? Dinosaur.
Oh, does it?
Dinosaur fuel.
Dinosaur fuel.
Which it is really, isn't it?
Mate, I can see us like in a couple of years and I'll have a stash of petrol just in the house.
Like
My last stash,
Mad Max.
yeah. Trying to grow it or something just to keep my Nova running. It'll happen with someone, mate. There'll be someone.
Yeah. When society breaks down and
That's it. So yeah. But they're doing something regarding, we're proper digressing here into other stuff, but they're doing something with fuel at the moment. I don't know if you've seen that. So it's something to do with E10 fuel. So if your car is not built before 2011.
The petrol.
Yeah. So that's something worth looking at as well.
Yeah, because my wife's got a Golf, petrol Golf, 2010.
Right.
59, but it's 2010. And I heard that anything prior to 2011, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
It can affect your car.
Yeah, so that's worth looking
When's
at.
that
There's going to be...
When's that coming then?
I don't actually know, but there'll be an additive or something, or it's something to do with the ethanol, isn't it? And the fuel, or it needs more ethanol. I don't know myself, I need to do more research on it, but yeah, it's we're at a point where cars have become amazing, but all these petrol and diesel cars are sort of being taken away from us as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I think when you win on buying over, not getting rid of it, I don't think I'll ever get rid of it.
Do you not reckon?
No, I think it'll just. My wife said she'll bury me in it.
Really? Yeah. Mine used to be the same with an Nova, mate. She hates it, I think. But
She hates me.
the thing is, it's like
she hates going in it, being taken anywhere in it. She says it's noisy, uncomfortable.
I love that. That's it. So.
Anyway, we're going a bit off.
We're going off subject here. Yeah, definitely.
So, come on, tell us, because the bit that I tell you what, let's just go back a little bit here. When I first come across you on YouTube, it was the I think it was the Nürburgring video.
Right.
Just come up in me. I was watching a lot of Nürburgring stuff.
Right.
So I think it just come up.
Right.
And that's when we missed. Oh, you're watching? I'm like. Funny
a guy in a pink taxi dressed as it.
So I sort of come across you there, and then I followed you. This is last year. This is sort of well before I got in touch with you. So we're talking probably October, November, December last year, something like that.
Right.
And then I've come across you on Instagram, followed you on Instagram, and then I'm watching your stories thinking, this guy's on movie sets.
What's he up to?
What's he doing? And I'm like. So we're talking to Daz and I'm like, because we're planning the podcast and everything, I said, we've got to get this guy on the podcast. And then obviously I contacted you this year. And it's just been mad. So it fascinates me. And honestly, my wife will tell you as well, right? When I see anybody famous,
right.
I'm just one of them.
You start up?
Yeah, I just go over.
Wow.
You know, I'm just like,
really?
She'll just, I don't even go, wait there, love.
Yeah,
so
with Guy Martin, you would have been all over.
I'd have been like, go on over, can I have a selfie?
Whereas I'm more like, I can't go and ask him, can't disturb him. You know what I mean?
I've like proper embarrassed myself and my family when we've been places and there's been somebody off telly.
Wow, good.
And I've had.
I won't be taking you to shoot with me.
I've had. No, you're not having a photograph. Can you leave me alone? Piss off.
Yeah.
And I've had people like Guy Martin that have been very embracing and spoke to me, but my wife's like, if we ever, like when we're family, if we ever see anybody famous,
you're not with me.
You're not with me, and I'm like, go selfie. But it just fascinates me.
Yeah, so first of all, before I get into this part, there's only so much I can say, and we talked about this, and there is limited amounts I can say.
How did it all come about though?
Okay, and there's only so much I can say.
Yeah,
Basically, Nicky Faulkner, a guy who owns Driving Wizards, which is a precision driving company,
right,
took us under his wing. And he gave us an opportunity to do a TV advert. It's as simple as that.
And just for someone who doesn't know anything about that industry,
and
probably the big watching, precision driving, obviously it's a skill, it's a trade, it's something that is, I think it's one of them unsung heroes of sort of TV.
Massive unsung hero, because you're never recognised. You're invisible. You're not that person. You're the invisible person.
Yeah, but you're doing all that driving, and I think I didn't realise. You know, you look at adverts, and you look at films and episodes and stuff like that, and you think of just a little bit of driving down some streets, and you just think, oh, that must be the actor that's driving. When in reality, it's not.
Yeah. Some cases it is, definitely. So what we'll do is we'll keep it simple. Precision drivers are not stunt drivers. Two different things as well, because they get mixed up. So I get, oh, are you a stunt driver? I'm not a stunt driver. And also I'm still a learning precision driver. I'm not top of the barrel yet. Do you know what I mean? I'm still learning, definitely. So regards to stunt drivers will do barrel rolls, big crashes, all sorts. Precision drivers will put that car on the mat, on the dot, every time, as soon as possible and as required, so that the production company can get what they need immediately.
Yes.
Because when you're working on big productions and big budgets, it's all about the money as well, and they need to get their shot.
Time.
Let some time. Yeah, time, money, everything. So it's about doing what they require on point every time. Let's move on to the next thing. Done.
Yeah.
So precision driver will be asked to put that car there, asked to do a reverse J-turn here, asked to drift it into this corner, and double for someone else. But also it's working in conjunction with a camera car as well. So the last thing you want to be doing is hitting a camera car, because it's got a really expensive camera on it. So forget the car you're driving, because that camera's probably worth more than both of them.
Yeah.
So there's all that to consider. And
what's that one with big arm on it?
So you've got a Russian arm, which I've worked with, which is pretty cool. So you've got like your car with a big arm on top, and this Russian arm will rotate, go up and down, pivot, do whatever they need it to. So you'll have a crew in there. So the big part as well is safety. You don't want to crash a car, you don't want to injure anyone, it's as simple as that. So it's putting all the traits into what you then see on television as such. So my first gig, which I can talk about, is I doubled for Thierry Henry, who is a fantastic driver. He did some of the driving, I did some of the driving, and that's how it goes.
Right.
I did the stuff with the camera car and it moving around and being really close to it. So they'll say, we want you at such a speed, we want you to maintain it, and you need to maintain it because we won't get the shot you want. So that might be 30 miles an hour, that might be 80 miles an hour, whilst keeping this distance, and that could be less than a metre, it could be 3 metres, it could be centimetres away from the camera car, depending on what profile of shot they want. Like I said, it's all about precision, but also being safe. And there's, maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot here, and I doubt myself massively. I'm not I'm a good driver, but I'm not the best driver in the world, and I'm still learning and I'm still trying to perfect my trade as such. That'll come in time. But I've done like over 15 adverts, I think it is. Well, I've done about 12 adverts, I think. I can't remember actually. I've done quite a lot recently this year. This year's really taken off. But my first one was, maybe I'm waffling, first one was 2019, doubling for Thierry Henry. I've done a couple of other bits with him before.
What's he like?
So cool.
Yeah,
really, really cool. Dead nice to meet. And because that was my first job, obviously I was quite nervous, and he's just dead chilled. And like you said, when you meet these kind of people, you don't know how they're going to be in real life. And he was just normal. He was just talking to a normal guy about normal stuff. And he loved to drive as well, which is really important. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's into it. So yeah, so that was a Renault advert. I did the Clio, I did the Megane. I've done a Renault advert this year, and I've done other adverts, so Mercedes, Audis. So yeah, it's a really, really cool industry. I can't say everyone that I've doubled for and stuff like that, as you can guess by looking at me. I only double for certain people. But also I've done other stuff that isn't necessarily doubling work as well. But very cool industry, very thankful to Driving Wizards and Nicky there who took us on board. And for you know, what was quite interesting is when I started doing the precision driving, I did have comments to me like, which is quite interesting, you do get a lot of jealous people that are like, why have you got that? Why are you doing that? You're always going to get that in life, so it's how do you deal with that as well. So a good mate of mine, Pete, was like, kill him with confidence, just crack on doing what you're doing. Do you know what I mean?
I love that.
Kill him with confidence, just crack on, do your own thing.
Kill him with confidence, or kill him with kindness.
And like, that's it, like I'm not by no means, what would be the word? I wouldn't ever say I'm an amazing driver, but I can listen to instruction and I can put it where you want it if you ask me, and I'll do that. And but then it's having all skills. So you might have a race driver or a person that can drift all day and has got these different skills in the car, but then their attitude stinks, or they're turning up late, or they're swearing on set and not being professional, or they're not doing what's required because they want to do their own thing. So it's also having a full package, I say, because you know, just being a good driver isn't a full package. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, some pretty cool stuff.
What you need to do is
look at me.
Look at his Instagram.
Yeah. Maybe I'm playing it down, but
just watch Instagram.
Yeah.
What is it?
At Jordan Morrison Racing.
Yeah. Follow his stories.
So at Jordan Morrison.
Because I tell you what, them stories are like you just get a little bit of
a little glimpse of what I'm allowed to say and what I'm allowed to show you. But honestly, in terms of drivers, like the person that's taught me everything is Nicky at Driving Wizards. And watching him drive is just... There's 3 people on his team. There's Nicky, Tim and Joe that I've worked with. And honestly, just watching them drive, there's levels. There's like... And they're them levels. And I really appreciate that. I can see that. It's such a talented skill. So my plan is to, you know, work my way up and get there, which will take time. You know, like I said, I'm not a person to blow my own trumpet because I'm not there yet. I'm still learning.
I think it's honestly, mate. I think it's amazing, and it's one of them. It is an unsung heroes. What you see on TV, and it just fascinates me. Yeah, fascinates me.
Oh, it's so cool. But now for me, every car advert's spoiled. Every TV program where there's a car scene, I'm like, well, that was that there, and we're probably doing this, and so it spoils it. But yeah, like this year alone in COVID, I managed to travel to Hamburg and Ukraine for work. So I do this alongside the fire service, which has been mega. You know,
just obviously really supportive as well.
Yeah, work supportive. Got no complaints. We've got a good boss, and I'll just work it around work. And you know, at the end of the day, that's my primary job. Yeah, and I love that job. And this is just something that is, although it's work, it's definitely a hobby as well. I love doing it. Absolutely love every bit of it. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll do some more stuff and we'll see what happens. But sort of the sideline of that is I'm actually now doing some tuition. So I'm doing some tuition tomorrow in some supercars, and I'm doing some tuition on Sunday as well. So I'm just starting to apply myself for other roles and stuff, which is something that I wouldn't have done, say, prior to sort of 2015. My missus had a talk with me. She had the talk. She was like, my missus was like, you need to carry through with what you say you're going to do. So I'd always be like, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. And I'd never materialise on that. I'd just like talk about it but not do it. So she had to talk about it.
I think my missus needs to have that talk.
Oh really?
Yeah, because I'm a good talker.
Well now, what the problem that's happened now is I'm now a yes man. So I'm immediately like, you was like, do you want to do a podcast? I'm like, yeah. I might regret when this goes out. But then that's all part of it, isn't it? So like
we've got to get Essence out of his comfort zone, haven't we?
Oh, massively. So I've taken myself out of my comfort zone. I think that's really important. I think we're in a society where a lot of people will try and keep themselves in a comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I was that person years ago. And now I'm more about taking myself out of my comfort zone, trying new things. And I tell you what, it's really paid off. It's really paid off. I can't moan at all.
No, and that's what life's about. It's about new experiences and enjoying what you do. And we're only on this planet.
We're on this planet once. The phrase YOLO, which I hate, but is you only live once, and it's so true. You do, and I know that if I hadn't tried and done these things, there's been opportunities prior to 2015 that I've maybe had and I've not taken them. Every opportunity since then I've taken. There's nothing that I've turned down, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't benefit me, because it's not about always benefiting you, it's an opportunity. One thing that I did, which was really nice and I need to do more of, was I got involved with a charity that I want to mention, Speed of Sight. Fantastic charity. They give the opportunity for people who will never be able to drive on the road the ability to drive. So people that are blind, people that have got disabilities that can't drive. So I did a day with them, and I need to get down and do some more days, but obviously I'm working around work and other stuff and family. Have a look at that charity Speed of Sight, absolutely amazing. So what they did was they put me in this kit car on a track and blindfolded me. And was like, put your foot down. And I was like, what, this is so weird, I can't see where I'm going. And they were giving me the sort of training and opportunity to see how other person feels it. And we were doing about 40 miles an hour, and I swear to God it felt like 200 miles an hour. Because I was blindfolded, I couldn't see where I was going, and could hear the engine revving. He was revving it, and all the wind's coming at you, and you don't know whether there's a corner coming up, someone's going to jump out in front of you. So big shout out to them, definitely.
Yeah. We'll definitely put their link in.
Worth looking at. Fantastic charity, Speed of Sight. If you know anyone with disabilities or anyone that could get involved with that, have a go. 100%.
Wow, I didn't even know that existed.
No, that's it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So they're the only charity doing it. So hats off to them.
Yeah,
got a lot of time for stuff like that. Definitely.
No, definitely. Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, anything that's involved in a car, motorbike, engine, like I say on my YouTube, I'm getting involved in.
Good.
So, yeah,
that's awesome. Honestly, I mean, one thing that sort of always gravitated towards you as well was just the love of being a petrolhead.
Yeah.
And I think I sort of saw that in you as the same as what I have as well.
Yeah.
I think there's certain things that happen in your life, and that without going too deep, that sort of.
I mean, get deep. This is what this is for. This is what this is for. I say. No, I'm joking.
There's certain things that happen, and I think, good or bad, it sort of leads you down paths to sort of where you are. And the sort of van thing was just something in my head that I've had in my head for years and years, and I've spoke about it and never did all about it. And
so you was me, wasn't you? You wasn't doing it, you was talking about the idea, but I didn't progress with it.
Yeah, exactly. And sort of lockdown was a catalyst to that.
Good, yeah. Well, that's good. It's made you do it.
Made you do it, and you know.
Sometimes you need that though.
You do, yeah, you do. And it made me realise a lot of other things as well, like, time and what's important, and working 7 days a week. And
it's not good for you, is it?
It's not good.
Breaks.
And,
but I believe also you create your own atmosphere.
You do, yeah.
And very quickly, you could have never done this podcast. We wouldn't have met.
No, and I think being on camera.
Yeah. In front of it,
yeah. I think doing this easy. This is not easy, but this is a lot easier than having your camera in your face.
Yeah.
And doing a vlog.
It's very. So I do YouTube. It's a small YouTube. I don't do it for money. I don't do it I just did it because I can do it, and I need to push the YouTube more, definitely. But it's getting that time, so I'm just doing YouTube for fun.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what my wife calls this, for fun.
So, work, this, isn't it? Though it's hard work.
It is, yeah.
When I've been doing the driving stuff and I've come back and Missy's like, "Oh, you had a nice jolly in Hamburg away," I'm like, I've been working like long hours each day, like it's hard work, a lot of mental concentration, a lot of physical concentration, you know. Like you said, it's easily played down, it's just fun all the time, isn't it?
But if you've got that person behind you,
massively.
It's all the difference. Because without, it's hard to say, without that, without your kids, food's tasteless.
Oh, massive. I like that one, food is tasteless,
You know, enjoyment gone. Why we all do it is for those reasons, and there's sacrifice that has to be made to get to where you need to be, but nothing is ever given to you without that sacrifice.
No.
And I think, especially when the kids, when they're little as well, it's I've always struggled with that, doing something and being away. But I did it. And I worked away a lot when my kids were little.
It's difficult.
But at that time, that's what we needed to do, and that's what we did. And we are where we are now, and we wouldn't. And we're the people that we are based on what's happened to us. So I just think you've always got to do what you think is right.
Oh yeah, massively. For me, like at the moment, like we're in the same boat, aren't we? Really, you know, we've got a wife and we've got 2 children. Yours are older than mine. I'm quite young, so it's hard being away. But then I've got to strike while the iron's hot with work coming up. I've got to do it because then that's opening doors and opportunities. It's
a long game. You're not doing it for a quick buck now.
That's it. No, not at all.
It's not about that. It's about them relationships that you have with driving business. It's about the relationships with your crew.
I've always told driving business, and he knows this, I'd do this for free. Like, because it's the opportunities and the experiences that I'm getting. You're never going to get.
Do you think you'll be able to get me a gig then?
I'll try. We'll see how you go on the track first.
If I turn around to my missus and go, I'm going to do this, she'd be like, get the divorce papers.
It's not
something else.
It's not happening. I'll speak to him for your fucking learning, but I'm not seeing you drive yet, so.
Yeah, you don't want to.
It's interesting, definitely. Like you say, it's. I think children for me was a massive catalyst. Because, like before that, it's like, well, I've only got to look after myself, really. You know, I've got to look after myself and stuff. Whereas now, I've got to provide a future for them. I think we got into this the other day, but I was talking about like money and stuff like that, and I was like, for me, if I've got money in the bank, which I do have, that's for my girls. Like that's for them. It's not really for me. So like the car that I really want at the moment, that I really want to buy, and is a BMW M2 Comp. That's what I want to buy. Now I could go and get one on finance, but my mum brought me up in a way that I won't. If I can't afford it, then I won't get it. Now I can afford to actually buy one, like, and this isn't bragging, I'm just trying to explain the situation. I can afford to buy one now, I'm in a very good situation. But then what's that bringing to my girls? Whereas if I invest, say, in a house, then that's a house for them when they grow up. Because when they get to like 18, 20, I can go, there you go, you've got a house. That's me done then, I'm complete a little bit. Like, that for me is my priority. Now, if I didn't have a wife and kids, I'd have some crazy projects right now. I'd have some crazy cars, because that's it. It's just getting that balance, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I think that's exactly how I feel about it, because especially when my kids were little, it was just like just a constant merry-go-round.
Really?
You know, they just when they're like 3, 4, 5, 6 year old, it's like every day it's like,
time just flies like that. What did we do last week? Can't remember. What did we do last night? Can't remember.
And then as they get a bit older, I mean, mine are 13, 16 and 18. Just jumping on something else, but especially in lockdown, I were incredibly proud of mine. Mine.
Dealing with the
situation and especially being at home, because to me the lockdown to me is coming out of my street, going for a walk at 2 in the afternoon, because we're allowed out for like half an hour a day or whatever it was. I don't know if you can remember, like April time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then nothing on the road.
Yeah.
You know, quiet.
Yeah.
And not really realising the effect it were having on us as a family at that time as well. So you just like, you're sort of getting on with it, doing what you need to do, and then as time went on, the sort of the effect that looking back now that it had were huge, because it had a positive impact on us as a family and it did me. But at the same time, I didn't realise at the time that the kids, they had schoolwork being sent through, they were knuckling down doing that, and then not being able to see the friends. Our Joe, my eldest, he likes to be around it. He likes to be around people, and you know, it got to him a little bit, the fact that he couldn't see his mates.
Yeah, of course.
Because in reality, to a 16-year-old, to an 18-year-old,
they don't want to be in the house, mate. They want to be out.
I mean, who wants to be stuck at home at that age?
Exactly.
I was out.
I was never in. That's
There were no mobile phones then. You know, if you mate, when a lot of my mates didn't have phone landlines.
Right,
so if they weren't in, if you wanted to go call for them, you had to walk or walk bike. Then you get there and they go, they're out, and you'd be like, oh god. But it was just like they couldn't go out.
Yeah.
You know,
it's difficult.
It was difficult on everybody, and I think sometimes, whether people believe in it or not, that's people's own views and opinions.
Yeah, of course.
But what we've got to look is, do you know something? Did we learn anything out of it? I did.
Yeah, that's
it.
Sure
that's
what we were talking about before. Like, you've either progressed in lockdown or you haven't. And if you haven't progressed in lockdown, in my opinion, you've got to ask yourself why.
Yeah.
Because that was a time to progress.
Yeah.
When I say progress, that might not necessarily equate to wealth or anything like that.
No, it might be a new relationship, an old
relationship, talking to family, doing something you've never done before. That's all progression.
Yeah.
And if you've not done that, then maybe ask yourself why.
Because
you've got to progress in life. Like, what's life if you're not progressing? You know what I mean? For me personally, you've always got to develop and try new things.
You have, and I think sometimes you sort of forget that.
Yeah.
You get caught up and you get caught up in it all, and then you're thinking, well, what are we doing this for?
Yeah. Well,
when in reality,
you're
doing it.
That's it.
For the good.
But it's nice to review your podcast. I think we're in very similar situations. We're trying new things that are well out of our comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? It's not for you, it's not for me, but when these things happen and they materialise into other things, other opportunities come up. And what I don't ever want to be is that person that moans and like, oh, well, this isn't happening, this isn't going my way. Because you've not opened them doors up in the first place, you've not tried in the first place. Now I know that, and I was that person, I was that person, I was like, oh, well, he got this and he did it, and it's because, well, you weren't trying in the first place. So I think that's a big part of it as well. So.
Definitely, mate. Anyway, just jump onto one more thing.
Yes, you're getting me for everything here, aren't you?
A few months ago,
I
was down at Silverstone.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember?
Yeah, we were going to meet, wasn't we?
Yeah.
I passed you, funnily enough, like we just started talking, and then...
You were going towards, weren't you? I was driving away from Silverstone.
Yeah, you were well away. You were well away. And I rang you, I was like, have you just passed me in a van?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a van that you was filmed, but it was yours, wasn't it?
Mine, yeah.
And I rang you, and I was like, yeah, was you in that Bluetooth van? Yes. Yes, I was.
And how hard was that?
Yeah, like we hadn't met each other.
No.
And this road, for some reason, on that time, I'd travelled all the way from Manchester. We just passed each other. The chances are like weird. So yeah,
it's a bit strange. But obviously, you were going to do your race, weren't you?
Yeah, so I did. So I got my race. So on the back of everything, I decided to get my race license as well. This was before I did the driving and stuff. And the reason why I wanted to do my race license is at a point where you're doing track days, it's good saying you're doing a track day, but a track day is not the same to a race. It's nothing like a race.
Yeah.
And you realise when you get involved in a proper race that the level is just, like I was talking about levels before, there's going out on the road, having fun or speeding or being an idiot, There's being a track day driver, and that takes some skill, and then there's racing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously there's different levels of racing, but we're starting at the bottom and it's budget racing. So I was going down to Silverstone at the time, and I was doing my first ever 24-hour race in a Citroen C1, which is what I've been racing in, Citroen C1 Racing Club. And it was just a mega experience. It was my third ever race, and I was doing a 24-hour race. So it was split with 4 other drivers, and what an experience. If you're ever going to, first of all, if you ever think about racing, do it. And if you was in my boat, so I'll be honest with you, I couldn't afford to race. Racing is very expensive. So you'll do track days, and a track day will cost 150 quid, 200 quid max for the day, unless you're going to do Silverstone or Goodwood. And you can get cheaper ones than that. Racing is like, right, okay, I'm going to do a race today, and we need, because I do a drive and a ride, we need 1,200 quid off it. Okay, well, I've got a family and I've got a house and a mortgage, and I can't justify putting that into a race. Do you know what I mean? If I was a single guy, then yeah, I'd be like, yeah, let's do that race, let's do this race, but I couldn't. So getting that fine balance of, I want to try and race, but I can't afford to. So that comes back to contacts, asking, don't be afraid to ask, don't be afraid. Racing is something I didn't think I could do. And I gathered sponsorship. Same again, Pete, Too Many Cars massively helped me, covered my sponsorship, believed in us, and gave us the opportunity to race. And I asked, and that got digressing again, but I was working with Terry Grant, which is a stunt driver.
Started following him since you
look at Terry Grant. So I followed him as a kid, and I was on another job with Terry, which was a TV advert. Terry was there. This was the first time I'd seen him, and I was like, "Oh, it's Terry Grant!" Like, I followed him as a kid, and he comes over to me, and he's like, and I put this on my Instagram. He's like, "If you want anything in life, just ask for it." And I was like, "How do you know I wanted to pick?" And he's like, "Because he told me." So I told one of the other guys that was working with him. I was like, "Oh, Terry Grant said I'd love to get a pick with him. Like, you know, he's a legend." Like. And Terry Grant told me this, so this came back to all kinds of things that I do now, and probably like you with this podcast, you wanted to get us on, you asked me. So yeah, digressing, but racing, definitely do it, 100%. C1 Racing Club, we ended up with something like 68 car grid, I think it was, at Silverstone.
So how for someone like me who doesn't know anything about it, how does that work in regards to that car that you raced in? So there's 4 drivers.
Yeah.
Do you all
paying drivers?
Yeah. So you all share the cost of that vehicle.
Yeah. So racing can work in different ways. Number one, you can have your own car.
Right. Okay.
And you'll have a team, and that could be family members or whatever, and they're all involved in racing. And you pay to race, and they'll just come down for the day and assist. But that would mean that I had to buy a car, build a car, spend all that money, and I might not even like racing, and now I've got this car that I've got to get rid of. Or you can drive and arrive, so you can go and get your race license, you can go and do that, and you can basically then drive and arrive. So the race team will turn up, they'll prepare your car. Big shout out to MLP Development, because they did all of it for me.
Yeah.
They'll give you some ideas and assist you, and also do a bit of training with you, do a bit of testing. So we did all this with the C1, and then I just pay per race.
All right, okay.
So obviously you've got your race fees, you've got your fuel costs, you've got their costs at the end of the day to get down there, to put everything up, to bring spare parts, you know, and at the end of the day it's a business for them as well. They've got to make money, so you can't go in and be like, it's a bit expensive this, can you not cut corners here or there? Like, at the end of the day they're doing a job, so they need to earn their money, they prepare, they took time to come down to the racing where they could be earning money somewhere else.
Yeah.
So yeah, but honestly, racing's phenomenal. I'm only at budget level racing still, and that's so fairly dear. So the plan eventually will be to get in some more exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've driven a lot of fast cars now and I can handle them. But having that budget to go racing it's not there. And you'll see a lot of, like, even BTCC, You'll see a lot of drivers potentially missing out on racing because they've not got the sponsorship for the next race, which is upsetting, especially when you've got like a podium leader who's doing really well and they've not gathered the sponsorship for the next race. It's, you know, we all need to win the lottery. We all need to become very rich to race. But just such a good atmosphere, working with like-minded petrol heads, and everyone's on a buzz regardless of whether you win or lose. For us, that 24-hour race was a massive learning curve. Within the first hour of racing, there was a team next to us putting an engine in the car. They'd blown the engine. But they've still got opportunity to do very well in that race because cars were going out on the roofs, cars were going out with loads of failures, all sorts. So over a 24-hour period, the fastest car does not necessarily win the race. Yeah. So much can go on. So yeah, I've had a couple of airy moments, which is good. I think, yeah, we had I had a spin at about, so consistent racing, no issues, and I had a spin about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was awful. It was like pitch black. Coming around I put it on my YouTube, and I just got nudged at the back, and it was like, and it was short wheelbase, so that's it, the car's gone.
Yeah, you ain't saving
it. So I was nursing the car back home, and it was going, like that, and got it back to the pits. And he come running out in panic, and yeah, it's good fun. Really, really good fun to do. We'll see what happens with racing, what I do more. One thing I'd love to do, but I'm not good enough, is bike racing. I'd love to get into the motorbikes, but I'm not good enough. So I think my next step will be get the Nova finished, do a couple of track days in that just for fun, and maybe get some more tuition on a bike.
Yeah.
Because the majority of my followers on YouTube were from motorbikes. Because motorbikes is something I'd never done. I'd gone from riding on the road for less than a year to jumping on a track day. So the reason why I did the YouTube originally was you can be just like me, have never been on a track, and then never been on a track, just on the road, and let's move towards the racetrack.
Yeah.
And it's very intimidating on a bike to go from road with limited experience to a track. Because the first thing that everyone says is, I go to everyone, I go, oh, they'll go, oh yeah, I'm a biker. I'm like, oh, take your bike on track. No, I'm not doing that, I'll bin it. I go, well, you don't go over Woodhead or Snake Pass
thinking you're going to
bin it, so why would you necessarily bin it on track? Oh, well, I'll push it too much. I'm like, no, you won't. You'll learn, unless you're an idiot, then yeah, you will bin it immediately. But if you go with the attitude of, I'm here to learn, I'm here to take my time and perfect my skill, then you'll get better and better.
Yeah.
That being said, I have been I've been doing Black Park, but that was like my 4th track day. And to be fair, I'm leaning over. I did it with a company called Loose Cannon Track Days. Great guy there, Jimmy Buchanan. He's raced in tri-options, really, really mint lad. He's a top lad. And anyway, I'm leaning over, double apex, dry sunny day, standing water, front wheel hits it, so I'm leaning over, put the bike up, wheels are like that, gets the bike up. Any normal person or anyone with a bit more bike experience would have leaned back into it. That was it, I was off on the grass, like that, straight off on the bike, legs up in the air, black. That's all I remember, black. Woke up, I'm looking at the sky, I'm like, alright, we're off then. Do you know what I mean? It happened like that. So I reckon I was out for like a split second from the impact.
Wow.
And I put that on my YouTube, it's worth watching. So anyway, adrenaline's going at this time. I'm waking up, in this field, looking at the blue sky, thinking, what the hell has just happened here? So he gets up, shakes himself off, I'm like, right, okay. Picks the bike up, and if you're not relatively strong and you've had a bike on the side, it's difficult to pick up.
Yeah, it is.
And obviously at the time, I had adrenaline, I was buzzing. I know that sounds really wrong, I was buzzing that I crashed.
No, but adrenaline's pumping, isn't it?
Yeah, adrenaline was pumping. And I gets back on the bike, and I go, and the guy's like, you alright to ride the bike? I was like, yeah, I'm fine, mate, and nothing's happened here. He's like, no, we'll put it back in the van, so the trailer got back to the pits, and we've got ambulance paramedics there. And then the pain came. It was like, and all my ankle had swollen up. Paramedics assisted me, I hadn't broken anything. And I booked 2 days there. This was the first day. So I was camping over in the T5. And I spoke to Jimmy, and he's like, get back on the bike. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And I was like, I don't work out. Get back on the bike. Got back on the bike. Second day, faultless, no problems. Had a really, had a really, really good day. So, yeah, interesting experience. But we'll see how many more bike track days. You don't fancy one. But at the end of this, you're going to go home and you're going to be like, right, we're going to build a track car, track van, we're going to get a bike and do some track days on the bike. Maybe I'm going to start being a decision driver.
Yeah, I'm not so much bike, I don't think, but definitely getting on a track day and do either a car or a van. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's
we need to do it.
But yeah, anything that's racing related, engine related, I love. I like to talk about weaknesses as well sometimes. And one of my biggest weaknesses actually working on cars. Like, I did it a little bit when I was younger, but I've lost that sort of skill for doing it. So I've got together with a lad called Beardy, and we've been working on my Nova, and I've just started taking a hand to that to learn something else.
Is that the guy with the twin engine car?
Yeah, definitely look at Beardy. Yeah. He's just, I set Beardy up on YouTube. I was like, mate, you need to get into YouTube. Like, you fabricate, you build a twin engine course, you need to do it. And he's like, oh, I'm not too sure. I was like, mate, I'll do your first video for you. And that's it. It's about helping people. He helped me with my Nova, I'll help him with that. So very quickly, he's gone from 200 subscribers, and now he's got 1,000. So he's working his way up, and it's just so nice to hear.
It is, yeah. I watched some of his videos, obviously since seeing him on yours. And
he's a good guy, but he's worth speaking to, definitely.
He's that course is just.
Oh, it's mental. Absolutely mental. Yeah. One day he might let me drive it.
Would he?
He won't let anyone drive it, to be fair.
No.
And I don't blame him.
Would, if you had someone
well, you will get someone, and that's the other thing, like, you'll get people with that aren't very experienced with different vehicles. A lot of these YouTubers, and they'll jump in it just because it's part of their show, they need to do it. But if it all goes wrong, are you insured? Are you set up for this? Questions need to be asked, don't they?
Yeah. I know when I drive some feature vans, the insurance part is the most expensive.
Yeah. Well, and this is what a lot of people won't see on your videos is you are getting insured, you're doing it legitimately. Yeah. But some people aren't, and this all comes down to your productions, and it actually costs you. So when you are taking days off work, you're self-employed, you're actually losing money making a YouTube video. So getting very deep, it's very hard to manage everything.
It is, yeah.
If I'm making
balance, isn't it?
Yeah, if I'm making a YouTube video, it's because I've got one day off that I've not had in a long time, and I'm not earning any money, and I've not got my kids. So I'm gonna do something that's for me, which is make a YouTube video.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's getting that fine balance. It's it'll come one day.
So what projects you got at the minute? Just go through them.
Okay. Where do we start? T5's always a project.
Yeah,
because
never finished.
Like, it's never finished. There's always something to do on it, but it's a 90% finish. All my projects are budget as well, by the way, but it's a 90% finish budget project. Nova, Volkswagen Nova, we bought it back end of 2000 and last year.
Yeah.
Around December time. That's going to be a track car. The project with that is it's got a 2 litre red top in it. I'm going to put a Quaife diff in it, some sticky tyres, get it to around 180 to 200 brake, but around, I'm hoping for 750 kilograms weight of the car. Running on bicarbs, roll caged a lot. That's just going to be the nice car that I can take out on the road once in a while, but also take on the track. Then we've got the motorbike, CBR 600RR, bought that as a non-runner, another one of my YouTube videos, I only paid £1,000 for that bike. I wasn't sure whether to say how much I paid for it, because then I want to sell it one day, but I only paid £1,000, and they're worth about £2,500.
Yeah.
And basically, that's one project that's still ongoing as such, because the project in the bike isn't necessarily the bike, it's me as a rider. That's the journey. The journey, yeah, I like that word. Then we've got, we're talking projects or cars that we own.
Project.
So we've got the Subaru Impreza that I'm going to buy hopefully on Friday, which is coupled together with a Vauxhall Nova shell that I've been given, which is coupled together with a 5-door Vauxhall Nova that I'm buying on Saturday. So we've gained like 3 other projects within a short period of time. Whether this all goes on my YouTube and what we're doing with these, I don't know yet. We'll see if it happens or not. Because I might go and see this Subaru and for whatever reason it's not what we've been told.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've given a lot of projects. Oh, and we've got the Pink Taxi still. The Pink Taxi is like a joint adventure as such because it was bought with me and the lads, my best man and the other lads from my stag do. But we still got that. It's stored away in tri-storage, still pink, still got a whiskey dispenser in the back of it when we were going around the ring. We were all drinking, going around the ring. Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, for me, there won't ever be any taxis on the road in 10 or 15 years in terms of them classic ones. Let's just keep hold of it.
Yeah.
That'd be good to put a V8 or something in it, rear wheel drive.
I've thought about that. Like, I've seen them for sale for like 600 quid.
Yeah. Well, we bought our taxi for around 800 quid.
Yeah.
MOT on it, and it, honestly, that taxi is like a van. 360,000 miles on it, and we travelled to the Nürburgring. We did the Nürburgring. We did 2 hard laps on it. We literally, the day we left the UK and driven down, got off at Calais, then travelled through Belgium and Germany, got to the Nürburgring, and he said the track might not be open tomorrow. So we got to the Nürburgring at 6 at night, and it shuts at 7. So we was like, let's just go on. So we driven straight from the UK, took it round the lap of the Nürburgring. It was like, didn't miss a beat. And then from there, we travelled with the taxi all the way up to Amsterdam. We did Amsterdam, and then we come back home. Didn't break down. One of the best vehicles I've ever had. So if you're thinking about buying another family vehicle, get a taxi. Also, you don't get done through taxi lanes and bus lanes.
No.
So it's great. Congestion charge, the taxi might actually come in handy. I might just put it back on the road because obviously there's no congestion charge, is there? Taxis.
No, just don't start picking people up.
That's a bit dodgy, isn't it? Honestly, getting insurance on a taxi that you're telling them that I'm going to take it to the Nürburgring because you're not insured to drive around the Nürburgring if you're on a tourist day. I don't know if you're aware of this.
No, no.
So, oh mate, I'm going on, aren't I? Sorry.
No, go on.
So, getting insurance on a taxi was impossible. We got it, but it was so difficult because it's not a car, but it is a car, but it's also a taxi. But then they're like, well, have you got a license? A taxi license? We're like, no, it's just going to be a car. They're like, but it's a taxi. We're like, yeah, but it's just going to be a car for the purpose that we're using. So we went through about, I lied to you and I shit you not. We probably went through about 34 different insurance companies until we got insurance on a taxi. Because then obviously I had to insure the other people as well to drive, because I didn't do the journey all by myself. We were me and 6 other people, and they had a driver as well. But we got insurance, so that was a bit of a nightmare really. But back to the Nürburgring, if you're doing a TF day, so tourist round day, you are not insured on the Nürburgring. It's a toll road basically. It's not classed as a track, the Nürburgring. So people think it's a track, but it's actually a toll road. So you pay for your toll and then you're on. But it's
that's why they charge you an extortionate amount if you crash and.
Yeah, so like whenever I've driven a Nürburgring and I've uploaded some videos, I've always driven it at 80%. You don't drive at 100%. You can do, but I'd do a track day and make sure I'm insured. Because the bill was like, we went with one lad, and there's another lad that I know, Alex, who took his BMW and he come back with €10,000 bill. Now, for me, it's not worth it. Do you know what I mean? You only had a little ding, but they charge you for
shutting
barriers, shutting the track. That's a big one, shutting the track. But then they charge you for every hour. Now, the Nürburgring is like 12.97 miles, I think it is. And tow truck starts at the start and comes round if you're not halfway round. So by the time he's got you on, you're into your second hour, but they don't charge you by the minute. So your 2 hours, I think it's £1,300 for 1 hour for the closure of the track, because they're losing out on money, because obviously lots of more tourists can be jumping on. So I do get the bills, but yeah, Nürburgring's in a very interesting place, and if you've not done it, this is on another one on the bucket list. You've got to do it.
Yeah, it's on bucket list. That.
Yeah, have you done it?
No, never done it.
Honestly, one of the best experiences ever. So you're on there and you don't realise it's great doing the game. It's worth doing. Like we used to practice Gran Turismo all the time before we went, but it doesn't prepare you for anything like, you know what I mean? It really doesn't prepare you for that place. But just the whole place in itself, like the area, like if my life was different, then I would move there and live there. That's what I'd do.
Yeah.
Maybe retire one day. You never know. But that's definitely my second home, and the plan will be to hopefully get there in a Nova. But I'm at the point where I'm like, do we just get rid of all projects and get a car? Do we get rid of the van? Do we get rid of the Nova? Do we get rid of the bike?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like spreading yourself a bit thin as well, isn't it? Are you going to finish these projects? You start questioning everything, don't you?
Yeah. There's no rush to finish any projects, is there? Like you hear of old boys with cars that have had since they were 19 and they've kept them. And also, a lot of them cars have now gone up in value depending on what you've bought. But like, you spread yourself so thin that actually, I'm not even getting a chance to use them. So is there any point in having it? Like the last time I was out on a bike was 2020.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm talking like March, April time 2020. So it's been a full year. The bike's never on the road.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I've done probably less than 1,000 miles in it since I've ever had it. It's like, well,
yeah,
it's not losing any money, but then it's not.
Yeah.
But then every time you get back on it, you think, wow, this is amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Does not feel like it, is there?
No, nothing like it. But like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, what about yourself with projects? Because this is new for you. Getting a second van, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're starting to do me and spread yourself in with.
Yeah. The project van, I think we've discussed what we're going to do in regards to, you know, front end and drop it and change engine. But I think what I'm going to try and do is do as much as the work I can myself.
Yeah.
That's within my capability, and then work with companies to do the rest of the work.
Yeah.
Whether I get involved in that or I let them do that if it's a specialist thing. But the idea with that is the first thing was track van.
Right.
But then more I thought about it, there's better vans to do it with. Yeah. There's better vans to build a track van out of, which we've discussed. So I'm thinking we build something that's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
That was like maybe take it to a drag strip. Maybe build more of a straight line kind of vehicle. You know what I mean?
Not straight line kind of guy.
No, well, you see, I've never done that either.
Yeah. Beardy, twin-inch course is all about straight lines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, I'd like to do that. So maybe just to keep it and have some fun.
Yeah.
And then probably get rid of it and then get another one or something. But that's the idea of that. And the idea is to create some content, which is totally different to features because they're polished and the way they are with the cinematics. But create.
So similar to what I've done with mine, like I've never done any real cinematics. I've just created content myself, like GoPro, stick it up. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So.
Yeah. So I want to do more of that.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think the features are great in their own entity.
Yeah.
That's not what this channel is all about.
Yeah.
The channel is that podcasts and builds, and working with people and growing the relationships and working together. So I think it'll bring hopefully a whole new audience.
Yeah,
to the channel, and bring it like a little bit more personal because I think the podcasts are more personal. Yeah. People can get to know.
Absolutely.
Because the features isn't about me. And I think that's where, isn't it? Yeah, and I think that's where this channel differs from a lot of the other channels, such as yourself. Your channel is about you and your journey.
Yeah.
And about all the different things you've got going on. Like the features is about the owners and their van. That's what that's about. So it's bringing it more personal to us and just having, you know, a little bit more content.
Yeah.
And do it more frequently, because that's the hardest thing.
It's so hard. Like, YouTube would be so easy if it was your full-time, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
But then, you know, maybe I'm taking it off for people that do it full-time. It's still hard work.
Yeah.
It's still work at the end of the day.
Yeah, you've got to keep...
And there's still there's a massive amount of pressure. Like, I'm not a big YouTuber, and I'm just doing it for the fun of it. And one of my best videos, I'd say, is one of my worst videos. I don't know how it did so well. And I did the T5R, and all we did was taking the old engine out and put a new engine in. And I didn't polish that video or anything, I didn't really put that much effort into it, and it's got something like 25,000 views. Which is not massive, but it is massive, when I think 25,000 people have watched this video. And then, like, for me, like, to 25,000 people not wanting to watch me fall off my motorbike, like, do you know what I mean? Why is that not done as well? Or,
yeah.
Here's a typical one. I mean, do you know anyone that would give you the opportunity to take their Lexus LFA on a racetrack? No one. So we went to Supercar Drive Meet at Donington, and this is how cool Pete is. Pete was like, yeah, just take the LFA on if you want. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, just take my Lexus LFA on track. His words were, remember the body's all carbon fibre. Don't bin it. I was like, right, okay then. 80% Nürburgring straight to the head there.
Yeah.
I know I can drive this car, I know I'm not going to crash it as long as I drive at 80%.
Yeah.
That video went on YouTube, it's not done very well. Don't understand why. Lexus LFA going round, do you know what I mean? But
coming back to relative to your audience.
Yeah, I've stepped outside my box there, definitely.
There's no science, because there's, I mean, you know when you go on you put YouTube on your telly, and it brings up stuff based on what you watched, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you see a video and you go like, 2.5 million views.
Oh, yeah.
It's mad. I think it's just once YouTube get it in an algorithm. So what you'll probably find is, and I'm not saying this is an exact science, but I've heard a lot of other YouTubers say this.
So I can tell as well, you've looked more into algorithms and the pattern. I've not. I'm just doing videos.
Yeah, I think it's more once YouTube pick the algorithm up,
then you'll,
and then it just
you've got to know when that is, and then you've got to capitalise on it as well. But what's the...
No one knows. That's the thing with YouTube, and what a lot of people think is the money is terrible.
Yeah. See, I've not even monetised mine.
Yeah,
I can.
We have, but we're talking anything between $20 a month,
right,
to $50 a month.
Flipping out, maybe I should monetize. Right, that's money that I could be earning.
But some months. Bear in mind, we only put one video out a month.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So we go into one video a week.
Right.
So by the time this goes out, there'll be one video a week. But
wow,
still relative to your audience and to how many subscribers you've got.
You're pushing there, though, right? One video a week. But this is what you've decided. This is what you're going to go with.
We've got to do it. So, but for us, it ain't about the money.
No.
Time.
Yeah. I've always said like the reason why I started my YouTube was more because I was getting a motorbike and it was following that journey, learning it, and that's why most of my people, that's why I think my struggle to grow recently, because I've gone totally away from the motorbike and back to the Nova.
Yeah.
So that you got all these bikers that are like, oh, I don't really like Novas. I digressed again. What was the point we were making though? We was basically saying that...
Just about the way the YouTube channel, why you did your YouTube channel. You would.
I never did it for the money.
No, it's for the journey.
It's never. Yeah. I think if I wanted to, I'd have to put pen to paper, and maybe I could make a YouTube to make money. Do you know what I mean? There's definitely certain niches there that you could make some money. Like 100%. You know, but that video has to be, or that YouTube channel has to be specific to one thing as such.
Yeah.
One item, one niche.
Yeah.
And you need to hammer every video, and it has to be the same sort of format.
Consistent.
And every week. Same upload time, so people are like, innit? But then you need to create your Instagram and Twitter for it, and this and that.
How hard is it just to do what we're doing?
Oh, mate,
and be consistent to it, and we're not.
Like, I do my videos, and like, I've got good now where I can. When I first started doing my local YouTube, it was like, I say like, no, YouTube's good. When I first started doing YouTube, it was like, I just film whatever, and then I'd bring it into the edit, and then I'd spend hours editing it. Whereas now I try and film so that my editing becomes a lot easier. But yeah, I don't know where mine's going to go really, my YouTube. I don't know what's going to happen with it.
I think the key is...
I'm at the moment, I'm concentrating on my future and career, and I'm trying to get into driving more things and giving tuition and doing more stuff in cars that are going to... Because that's the other thing, like... It's all good concentrating on YouTube, and you'll see a lot of these people that will concentrate on YouTube, but are they investing their money? Or are they just blowing it and spending it? I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are big YouTubers out there that are earning a lot of money, but at the point, the way I think is like, if I earn a load of money, I won't put it away. I'm a bit weird, mate. Do you know what I mean? A bit old school, maybe. I don't know. It is though, because like, I speak to people and they're like,
that's my missus, I can spend it.
Yeah, well, that's each to their own, isn't it? And that's why I say I'm just weird like that.
I wouldn't say weird, mate. I think it's more sensible. I mean,
it's boring, mate. It's boring.
Yeah, but at the same time, how good does it make you feel? In reality, I always think like this, right? And this is coming from when I've had no money.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say it. I've been and I've no money, but when when I was younger and I didn't have hardly any money in the bank.
Yeah.
And I'm older now and more responsible. I've got a family.
Yeah.
I've got kids, and an incredibly supportive wife, and I want to feel secure with money in the bank.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
When funds deplete, you think, you know what I mean?
Scary times.
And you're a master of your own destiny. So we've all got to be sensible and have lids on. And to us, YouTube has always been the hobby that we've thought, so if we can do it, we'll do it.
Yeah.
But it's not at the detriment of anything else.
Yeah, of course. Your business and your family.
Our business comes first, without a doubt.
Exactly that.
And it's only due to the fact that we're so busy and the business is...
Mate, you've got the same ethic as me, like for me.
If I can do it, then I'll do it. If I can't do it, then we'll not do it and we won't post any more videos.
Yeah.
But we're in an incredibly lucky position, making our own look, like yourself, that we can do it.
Yeah.
And what we want to do now is really think, right, we know we can do it. Whether people think it's good or not, I don't know.
No, mate, I think you've got a very good, like I've seen what would you call it, of the cars, reviews? No, they're not really reviews, are they?
Just a feature,
I've seen them featured and they're very, very good.
Yeah.
And you will be one of the channels where people will look at it and be like, why have they not got more followers? Why have they... You just wait for the algorithm to be
that's it. It just takes time.
Yeah.
Just takes time, and we know that, and I know that, and I think the more your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
And that's what will continue to be. And whether the channel grows and goes supersonic, or whether it grows to where it's got a decent following, and we've got an audience that supports us, and we've got people we work with and support, and we create a sort of environment that's supportive to people around us, and we have a show a year, or we have meets and we have track days, and everybody that comes has a really good time.
Yeah. And
to me, you can't ask for any more than that.
No, you can't ask for any more than that, definitely.
Or whatever else comes as a bonus.
Well, you're making them networks yourself and links and get yourself out there and asking for support. I think that's a big one. Mate, you'll get there. It'll happen eventually, definitely.
I think it will.
You're a nice person. You're very approachable. So that's all it takes sometimes.
I think
it's
just connecting with
massively connecting with people, massively law of attraction. The majority of things I've done, 100% I wouldn't have been able to do without someone else. What I've done is I've just gone, yes, that's it. I've gone, yes. So, like Driving Wizards, like P2 Many Cars Give Me the Opportunity with driving these cars, like all these things. That's due to connection and relationships, and that's it. I've not got a massive pot of money where I can go, oh, I'm going to buy this Ferrari, I'm going to do that, and I want to get on TV and do these. I've not got any of that.
But you said yes.
Yeah.
But you still have to do it from that point.
Massively, yeah.
It weren't given. It weren't like, there you go, it's easy peasy, is it?
Yeah, but to then manage things, to do them other things and move things around.
And it's having that mentality to think, you know something, I'm nervous, shitting myself.
Yeah, I've been in that situation. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I've been in that situation many times.
And here we are today.
Yeah.
Both of us.
That's
Both of us. Because in reality, that just get it. If I said to anybody who's, you'll be the same, you've said it, just do it. You're thinking about launching a YouTube channel, just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Or a business.
Some people will surprise themselves massively. Like, there'll be some people that are not really going to go with it wholeheartedly and actually find that they do very well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I find there's a lot of people in life that have a talent or a skill that's massively wasted. I'm not saying, there's a lot of very intelligent people, but because they're not just doing it and they're not saying yes, they're being held back.
Yeah.
You are in charge of your own destiny.
You are, yeah.
Massively.
Yeah.
And yeah. But I like I said to me, I don't want to be that person that's gone, I've not had a go at it.
No.
I'm just thinking about it. But
and I think any kind of content you put out, and this is what blows my mind sometimes about YouTube, is if it influences someone in a positive way or helps that person, or they watch it and they laugh.
Yeah. I mean, it's good, isn't it?
Well, that's what it's all about.
I mean, you'll be the same. Like my children now, they don't watch any normal telly. They just watch YouTube. That's it. So it's got a massive influence. I'm very wary about what to watch, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, like I said, it's got positive on them, definitely. And it's influencing them and into what they're doing. So when you see the kids' YouTube and how big they are, until you've got kids and you're watching it and you're like, what the hell is this? But your kids are like fixated on it. You realise how much influence your YouTube will have on someone else as well.
Yeah, however, it's relative to how big or small you are.
Yeah.
Because you think you have 25,000, say for instance, you look at your channel and you might have 30, 40, 50, 60,000 views across that channel. You stick 60,000 people in a football stadium.
Yeah,
and you stand in the middle.
Yeah, because I'm in front of them.
But just think it's relative.
Yeah, massively.
You've got some you've got 100,000 people. It's very strange because I put a video out and I'm thinking, how many views it first 24 hours. It don't really matter how many views it first 24 hours. What we have noticed is, like you said, some videos do really well and some don't do really well in the beginning, but in the long term they do really. The sort of slow burner here, and then they pick up pace.
I got fixated a while ago on subscribers. I was like, I need more subscribers. I'm like, why do you need more subscribers? And after I watched a couple of YouTube videos on like what to do in 2021 or what to do in 2020 with your YouTube, and then you're realising that you don't need more subscribers. You just need to keep the content, wait for the algorithm, and you need more people viewing, really. Because when I looked at my there's like a bit in the YouTube studio, and it'll say like how many of your viewers have actually watched your video. Not many of my subscribers watch my video.
80% don't. I'm not subscribed to our channel. They're watching.
Yeah, and you're like, wow. So I was concentrating on what my subscribers want, but it's not necessarily what they want, really. It's more what the next person wants. So maybe I should get back onto it a bit more. I don't know. We'll see.
But this is why it's so important. We are videos, and we have videos that people like them.
Yeah.
That people subscribe to the channel because that helps out with all the algorithms.
Yeah, you need that feedback.
And if write a comment.
Yeah, you do need that feedback because I find myself lost like, do they like this? Do they not like this? Am I doing this well? I think I'm doing this well, but I don't know what they're thinking.
What always you think is good is not always what you think
exactly.
either.
Yeah, massively. So like you said for yourself, that feedback of people, whether it be negative or positive, I've had negative feedback. I love it. I'm a bit like, give me that negative feedback. If you didn't like it, tell me why.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm all for constructive.
Yeah, constructive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But is anybody you want to thank?
Maybe.
Or is the list, or do we
like,
need to get
like I said to you, half the stuff I do wouldn't have been without other people.
Yeah.
I've not, maybe I've done a lot of hard work myself, but you know, my missus being one of them, my wife obviously, that's the most important, my kids. And I know that sounds really sad, but without them, you would push yourself to do it.
No, you wouldn't.
And then, the list is endless. Couple is a man clan, that's like my crew of mates.
Yeah.
And like they're the type of guys that will buy a taxi with me, go to the Nürburgring for a stag do. Not many people would do that. People would pull out, people go, I can't afford it. They were all on board. I couldn't have better mates than that. Pete, too many cars. The amount of stuff he's done for me, I can't ever repay him. I really can't. He sponsored me, he's always supported me, he's been a good mate. I can ring him up for a conversation at any point in the day, whether that be 3 o'clock in the morning. Nicky, Driving Wizards, giving me a once in a lifetime opportunity to do something that was a childhood dream.
Yeah.
I can't shout out him enough. The list is endless. MLP Developments, they were like the race team, they've assisted me, they worked very well with me for my first time into racing.
Yeah.
You know, these are people that have raced for years and they were very considerate of my situation and what I was doing. All them people, my mum, obviously. But yeah, so like all these people have massively helped me to get to where I am now, definitely. And I won't let them down because I'll just keep it going now. Yeah, that's it. Where that leads, I don't know.
Yeah.
We need a big feature film. That's the one.
Yes.
A big feature film.
Needs it.
Doing some driving.
Yeah. I think, definitely. Definitely need to do something now.
But massive thanks for you for getting us on this. Like I said, I did this. What's weird is I did this because I want to help your channel. There's nothing like I don't want to brag about myself. I've got nothing to brag about. For me, the most important thing is my family, and that's it. Nothing else matters. Really don't. So, how many views I get, how much money I get, it does not really matter, mate. For me, I want to help other people. I get something out of this. Let's say with the cars, getting in a car and giving someone tuition, and that might come down to my job, saving someone's life, helping someone in a desperate situation, rescuing someone. I get so much more out of that than anything. Do you know what I mean? So, so helping you with this, and it's all good. It's all positivity.
It is, yeah. Honestly, man, it's been a pleasure having you on.
No, thank you very much. I think, that's it. Unless you've got any more questions for me.
No more.
I can't wait for my free bathroom.
I've got.
Can't wait. I'm really in this. Did they know what you do? By the way, I've said this, but yeah.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Good. So we'll have a talk about that after this. But.
YouTube channel?
So everything is, this is how long I've not been on it. Everything should be Jordan Morrison Racing, Jordan.
Yeah.
Morrison with 2 R's. But anything I do will be, it should be under JMR or Jordan Morrison Racing. I don't know what the plans will be with it, but
watch your space.
We'll see what happens. Bigger things in the future. We'll see.
So, if you haven't already, go give Jordan a follow. And if you've liked the video, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't liked it, tell us you haven't liked it. But if you've liked it, give us a comment, and we really appreciate it.
I appreciate that. I'll be reading the comments. Ready for the slagging off. Ready for the negatives.
But I'm sure it'll be fine, and just want to thank you again for coming on.
Honestly, give these guys support. I'm going to put it in there because they're working hard to do this. He's come out his way today. I massively appreciate that.
Because we're in Jordan's house.
We're in my house.
A lovely home.
Absolutely. We've not rented a studio. Jesus.
Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching.
Thanks a lot.
We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Yeah, man.
Cheers, man. It was good.